What's up, YouTube? This is GiantsBuff3 here. So I was just messing around on the Overwatch stats page, and I was like, what maps does Queen do well on, right? And I'm a Masters player, so I typed in Masters. I'm mouse and keyboard, PC player. And I only want comp, because people mess around in quick play, right? And I went down, I'm also America's, so I went down to Queen, and it says 64.3% win rate. What is going on? Havana is not a brawl map, right? It is a dive, poke, anything but brawl, really, right? And I'm like, does this have to do with like White Boy Primal or something like that? Maybe, I don't know. America's just like a dive. So I tried like different regions and stuff. I went to Europe, and I'm like, oh, that makes way more sense, right? I tried going to bronze, and I'm like, that seems way more reasonable, right? Couldn't tell you what's going on, but I decided I'm going to take all the stats from this website that I can, and I'm going to try to make reason of it. So I have a script in Python. I may post it to GitHub sometime. I don't know when. I do have to clean it up. But anyway, and I made this CSV. So we're not going to go through all these. If you pause real quickly, maybe you can find what you're looking for, or you just use the website. I don't know. But we're going to go over these tabs I have on the bottom for win rates, pick rates, and the comparison. And I'm going to go over why there's 9 tabs. Sorry, burp. In a second. But let's go over the first 3. So these are the win rates for PC, Comp, America, right? Now, if it is in red, it does not mean that it's a low number. Like, you'll see there's like a 54.2 here in red. That means it is below average for all of the ranks. If it is green, it means it is above average. So you see how there's like a 49.8% here? Does not mean that it's a good stat. So do not let that confuse you. Now, that being said, you'll notice that in bronze, Queen typically does worse in bronze and worse in GM and champ than the other ranks. Does not mean she's got a low win rate. It just means comparing bronze and GM champ to the other ranks, the middle ranks seem to be greener in terms of it, so that they do a little better on Queen. You'll also notice that a lot of the maps on the top are brawl flat maps: Atlas, Samoa, Saravasa, Colosseo. And then something weird happens. Eichenwald. Why is Eichenwald one of Queen's best maps, you would ask? Bad, average, bad, 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 bad. What is going on here? Now, when I say bad, by the way, I do not mean like out of Queen's favor. I mean like below average. There's something skewed here. And it is GM champ at 72% win rate. And I'm going to show another tab real quick just to prove that this is like a legitimate stat. If I go to the total pick rates, right, and I go to Eichenwald, where's Eichenwald here? This guy, right? 10.6%. It's not like they're not picking Queen, right? It's not like one person played one game and won a game, and now all of a sudden Queen has a high win rate. 10%? That's crazy. So, going back to the win rates, right? Eichenwald is not a bad Queen map. Maybe the second point, right? But first and third point are not bad. But these ratings do not match. Like, it is completely skewed, which is why I have those extra 6 tabs. I have 3 tabs dedicated to the middle ranks, which I have labeled as gold to diamond. And then I have high rank, which I labeled as diamond to GM champ. And then you might be like, why is diamond in both of them? Well, low diamond, high diamond, I don't know where the average lies. I'm so sorry. Standard deviations and stuff. But we're just going to go over this again, the outline. And then we'll go over the middle ones and the higher ones. All right? So, Eichenwald's a weird one, right? Ilios being kind of flat. Our Inaric Peninsula has like one high ground, low ground map, but like overall it's pretty flat. I'm surprised New Junk City is this low. It looks like for every rank that's not like GM Champ is 39 points. What is going on this map? Bro, I don't know what's going on in GM Champ, but like there's some shenaniganery. If I do say so myself. And then listen, I'm not trying to shit on bronze players, but like I've seen you guys play. I've heard you guys listening to your Spotify premium so that you can't hear footsteps. I don't know. I'm just gonna skip bronze analysis. Moving on. Nepal is not like that high, probably because like maybe like Hog is pulling people to the hole. Maybe it's because there is that bit of high ground on that I forget which point it was. I think it's called like Village. Maybe it's Village. I'm not sure. But you'll see like Runasapis here got a bit of high ground, and then by the time you get to the bottom, you see like a lot of high ground, right? Route 66 has the less accessible the high ground is, the more likely Queen's gonna be bad on that map. So like King's Row as an example, first point kind of fine. There is a bit of high ground, but you can play around it for the most part. You kind of force point at some point. But then the rest of it becomes payload. Second point's not bad, but third point sucks for me because there's like two high grounds that are incredibly high up that I cannot reach as Queen unless I have a Life Weaver. 11.3%. That is interesting. Now, I will say Havana is very much a poke or dive comp, depending on however you want to play it. Not really brawly. So, this difference right here is kind of crazy. I don't know what the difference is, but there's a difference. And I'm not looking into every character. It's probably like, oh, this is where like Winston players finally understand how to play the character. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. But for the most part, the maps make sense. Pick rates. So we love those flat maps. They're on top. Nothing really surprising here at all. Shambhala is like not even like that bad because like although there's a lot of long sight lines, there's a lot of cover, and then it's generally flat. Like there are like a little bit of high grounds and stuff, but nothing you can't really play with. You go down here and you're like Havana's down here. Yeah, no. Weirdly enough, the pick rate for Queen on these is higher for like the lower ranks. And actually, if I like zoom out entirely, you'll notice that like again, green means averages. The averages for the like flat maps go to the higher ranks, and it looks like just like an overall like yeah, we'll pick whatever goes goes to the lower ranks, and like the higher ranks are like we are not playing on here. So I thought that was interesting. Again, these are averages. It's not like a high rate, low rate, right? Actually, if you like look at the bronze, I suppose these are all really close by. But then you see like GM Champ, it goes all the way from 17.1 to 1.9. So, yeah, that's just how it is. Going to the comparison of total pick rate, win versus pick rate. Again, Eigenwald's hella skewed. I'm gonna move on from that one. I don't know what's going on there. I'm only a Masters player. If someone in GM or Champ could comment below telling me what you guys are doing for Eichenwald to be so high up, I would love to learn that map better. But for Ilios, this one might be because like Hog is pulling people into the well. And so you don't play as Queen because Queen has no way to like really stop Hog from doing that. The best Queen can do is knife Hog, and if Hog pulls her, she pulls them. So Watchpoint Gibraltar is also an interesting one. I actually want to go to the total win rates. Who the fuck fucked up? I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I just don't know how to play the map. I'm gonna go with that. I don't know how to play the map. You heard it here first. It is my worst map. But then Yeah, the rest of them make sense. Like, the greens are up here, the reds are down there. So, yeah. Okay, we're going to go to the middle ranks. So this is, and I can actually zoom in more because there's not much more to the sides. Between like high gold and low diamond, lot of flat maps, right? And again, Another Peninsula has like that one section that's like high and low, but like for the most part, like flat, right? And nothing's really surprising. In fact, actually, I'd say the middle ranks make the most sense to me because you look down here, Numbani's down here, Circuit Royale, Parisio, Kings Row. Kings Row maybe is a little weird. Maybe you can argue. You're like, nah, dude, Kings Row is totally fine. No, I struggle with third point. I don't know how people do third point. I might just want to pick up another character so I can play third point. But I am kind of like a one-trick pony on Queen. And look, Eichenwald's where it's supposed to be. Why was it so high up for GM Champ? I couldn't tell you. In terms of pick rates, flat maps on top, high ground, low ground maps on bottom. I don't think there's anything really confusing. Junkertown is kind of in the middle, weirdly enough. I think it's because there are ways from the start and end of each point to get to high ground. But then if you're in the middle of the point, it's kind of hard to just randomly find high ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, Junkertown, if you come out of, like, attacker spawn, you instantly have access to stairs. If you're coming from the first point defender spawn, right, you just go straight to high ground. So, like, it's an interesting kind of, like, dynamic where it's, like, if you're in the middle, it's kind of there. So, thought that was interesting. Win rate, pick rate. Nothing's really abnormal here. Shambhala is not as bad as the middle ranks think. Maybe pick it a little more often. It just requires you to use cover, and then that little high ground that is there is a lot of access to it, so go try to claim it. Rialto, that first point where you start fishing for people off the bridge, it's so much fun. But I do understand that there is a bit of high ground. Might not be the best for you, but you also can contest, like force them to get on point maybe. Yeah, maybe you can just go challenge high ground. Because for the most part, I want to say on Rialto, there's like one-ish high ground on every point. And like if you just claim that, they can't get to like another high ground that they can escape to, First point, kind of. Second point, no, it's just like that one building staircase, right? As soon as you claim that area, you have high ground. And then for the third point, there's that little bridge area, and that's about it. Junkertown, again, at the beginning of the points and the end of the points, there's ways to get to high ground, but middle of the points is kind of awkward, so I kind of get it. But everything else makes sense. Now, let's go to the high ranks, which, like, I agree with a lot of the mid ranks, but I feel like high rank is just skewed because GM Champion is just a different beast. Why is Eichenwald the highest win rate? I don't get it. Someone get in the comments. I don't get it, right? Ilios, probably GM Champ. They nail that knife. They nail the pull. They're doing great. They don't get booped out by Ventures, Lucio's, Orisa's maybe. I don't know what Doomfists. Samoa is better for. It's just a flat map, right? Atlas is up there. Coloseo, like none of these really like surprise me for being up here, except Eichenwald. Paraíso, it looks like we just don't know how to play the map because it looks like the GM Champ players have a good holding on it, In fact, it is, and this is the one time red means negative and green means positive. We just have a negative win rate on here, between Diamond and Master, whereas like GM Champ, they got it. Maybe we should just like watch a little bit more of their gameplay and see what's going on. But nothing else really like surprises me in terms of the map. Maybe like New Queen Street, but I will say New Queen Street does have that one bit of massive high ground where it's like if they have like a Soldier 76, an Ash, a Widow, like I can't really contest them as Queen. Maybe if I had the April Fool's knife pull myself to it, so much better, right? Blizzard, if you can hear me, right, make it a major perk. Like, just, I want to be able to traverse the map. And if you made it so that it's only for, like, high ground and stuff, sure, I don't know. But, like, there are so many high ground maps where I'm like, I want to play as Queen, but I can't. Pick rates. There's actually no surprise here, right? These are all, like, the, like, flat maps. Again, Peninsula has that one little area. And the lower you go down, the more it has high ground that's pretty hard to access at some point of the map. So there's even like a 1.9 for champ. And actually, like, this looks like pretty like linear for champion, whereas like I guess it's kind of linear for the rest, but like not as like low, I suppose. And then high rank. Again, I have no idea what's going on in Eichenwald. Thank you, champ GM players, for opening my eyes. Ilios is probably just like a skill issue. As someone in Masters who has only like a 50% win rate on Ilios, I'm probably the skill issue. Gibraltar, weirdly enough, and this is for high rank, by the way, has an incredibly low pick rate, but a decently good win rate. So, like, what are we missing here? Is it the bans? I wonder if it's like we banned the right heroes, and now Gibraltar is like a playable map. Couldn't tell you though. And then we are picking. I mean, okay, it's still positive. It's still a 50-50. But we're picking New Queen Street and Esperanza, like, I guess maybe a little too much. Maybe. I don't know. Again, still positive map win rate. We can take it. Paraíso, Rialto, these are probably like GM champ players, like mastering something. And then Shambhala also up there. But yeah. Those are all the stats. If you wanted any more stats, I don't think I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it for like other characters. I can. I guess just like as a tangent. If anyone wants this code, I'll probably post it to like GitHub somewhere. I don't know. Not in this like repository. This is just like a local thing I do. And I also can't use API calls, so just to like show this off, let me actually zoom in a little bit. This is for like, the nerds out there. I had to find something called Playwright, which basically API calls are for when a website, as soon as you access it, it has that info, right? Like a static number. The way that this website works is that it pulls data as you load up the page, right? So you load it up, and then after like a second or two, it gets the information and then populates it, right? So you can't just use API calls. You can't use Beautiful Soup. You got to use something like this, apparently. That was something I knew I learned today, and I wrote like the prereqs for how to do that. Yeah. So let me zoom out the code a little bit. There are like different options. You can actually let me go to just the standalone function, which I don't use anymore. You can do it by target role input, here or whatever, right? It just changes your base URL, and then you can do it for like all tiers and shit like that. And then you just create a Chromium page, browser, and then you close that page after you collected whatever information you wanted. Okay, cool. Hopefully that was enlightening. Thanks you guys for watching. And GM champion players, what the fuck are you doing on Eichenwald?